Okay, I thought I would talk about this a little bit because it seems to be like a hot button topic, and I'm just going to give my opinion on it. So, Marathon's been caught up in a lot of controversies, and I'm going to have the gameplay going in the background so you guys can see kind of like what the game is and what I'm talking about. Um, but on some level, I just think Bungie is not the company that we used to know and love. Obviously, I think for me, I don't know for everyone else, but for me, Halo 1 and 2, chef kiss, perfect. But I think when it came to Halo 3, and this is me. I know a lot of you had fondness for Halo 3, but for me, Halo and Bungie and all those companies, I started to see the cracks. And I started to see, I just started to notice stuff, and I was like, looking back on it, it wasn't such a big deal back then. But as I get older, I'm like, damn, we could have had 20 more years of this, and the company could have stayed stable and stuff like that. But they've sold their IPs, they've moved around, they've done a lot of different things, and they've made a bunch of mistakes. Now I know they have like Destiny and whatever, but and don't get me wrong. I think Destiny 1 came out and everyone enjoyed it. But I'm not going to sit up here and have this fucking YouTube channel and lie to people and pretend and not give my opinions on stuff, because that's not why you guys are here. Okay? Let's be honest. Let's be super fucking honest. Destiny and Destiny 2, they did good. But there was controversy after fucking controversy with that shit. Okay? Destiny 1 had a real bad problem with their PvP. And then, like, fuck it. We'll just talk about both Destinies at the same time as a bubble. Okay? In this whole ecosystem, they've had problems with player count, especially on console. I mean, I swear to God, dude, I think it was Destiny 1 that came out, and their console for Xbox, their player base was down to 1,000 shortly after they came out. 1,000 players. Like, I get it was supposed to be this thing where you could play single player, and then you had this multiplayer aspect that they could seem to never fucking balance or whatever. And I realize that a lot of you, it's about the content of the company. And you're like, I'm going to support these guys because I think one day they'll make something and they'll get back to where they were and stuff like that. And I think a lot of that has gone down over the years, because if I had said controversial statements like this in the past, let's be honest, I would have been torn up. I can't have these kind of wild thoughts back then. Like, Bungie? You mean the guys who made Halo? Fuck you. Right. I get it. But for me, Halo 3, I was like, I mean, you had that map creator, and that was really cool. And I thought, man, Far Cry had that map creator. I don't know who you guys are, right, that are watching me, but Far Cry had a really good map creator, and I must have spent hours in there just playing with stuff, enjoying myself. Even if I'm like not playing the game, you could go in there and you could make maps for it, and you could play with your friends, you could play co-op together, you could do all that kind of stuff. And I just think that kind of, what they call it, Forge, that kind of stuff was like really cool. But it also made me feel like, I don't know. And the maps designs got, I wouldn't say worse. It's not worse. But, and I'm going to be fair here, studios like Call of Duty had the same problem, where it's like players were like, dude, this map was one of the best maps you ever made. Bring that back, right? Because who the fuck cares? If you're playing multiplayer, like, you finish the campaign, sure. If you want to stop playing the game, you can, but you're not. You're going to go play multiplayer now, and you're going to get all the cool stuff. And that's what they started doing too. And that's where I was seeing the cracks. It's like, hey, not only are you going to buy this special edition elite, because, bro, me and my uncle, we pitched in together and we bought the fucking helmet version of, like, I think it was like fucking Halo 2. Now, we sold it, so I can't remember which one it was. And this was a long time ago, to be fair. My uncle was an idiot. He thought it was like a full size. It was not a full size helmet. He thought it was. He was like, dude, he said if it was a full size helmet, I would have spent way more. That's the kind of passion and fanaticism that we had back then, where we were like, dude, this company came out with this thing. I'm down for it. I don't care. I'll spend whatever I have to spend. Nowadays, the economy's different. Everything's different. Shit's starting to slide. Cracks are starting to show. Players aren't being represented as much as they used to be. The companies that really sit down and say, look, we care what you guys think, and we're going to try to make the game as good as we can. And when a ton of players say, hey, we don't like this thing, we're going to try to change it, like that, those are good companies, because they know that, like, without you guys, there's no money. And I'm a dev. And when I see companies that treat their player base like fucking garbage, part of me feels like, why are we supporting these guys? Now, I'm not saying that Bungie's done this, but the controversy around Marathon and a lot of the other games that they've come out with, like, fuck me, dude. Hey, you sold Halo. You sold Halo. Oh, look at that, an ad. That's lovely. You sold Halo. That's fantastic. But the reality is, like, should they have sold Halo? I think most of the players didn't like it when that was, on the table. And I'm not saying I didn't play the other ones. Hell, I even came back and played the online one, and it just wasn't the same. I didn't feel the same, and it wasn't some nostalgia bullshit. I mean, the game literally felt so different. And when they started, moving toward the same thing everyone else did, which is like buying cosmetics and stuff, I didn't necessarily hate it. They had some cool shit, but at that time it was like you could only eat so much shit, and that's where I am with that. Now, on the Marathon stuff that I'm talking about, they stole artwork. See this artwork? See this techno artwork? They stole artwork from an artist blatantly, and then they try to cover it up. Now, here soon, they're probably going to run some fucking PR campaign to be, like, cute about it. But, like, the reality is, when companies have this happen, you know what the simple thing is? Contact the artist. If it really was a mistake. It wasn't. Contact the artist and say, hey, we had no idea, and we want to work with you. Can we come to a middle ground? We don't want to remove all this and, like, hike our costs and risk our employees. And it's coming from a dev. How I would have done it. I don't want to risk my employees. I don't want to rework the entire game to remove the stolen assets. We had no idea. We like your stuff. We want you to work on this. We want you to become a full team member. But you know what? They won't do any of that. They'll never do any of that. Why? Because they're fucking scummy, bro. They're like, no, because if we admit to any wrongdoing, then they could sue. It's like, not if you hire them and give them a contract and say, look, is this okay? Is this good enough? Is this something we can work out? We really want to work with you, and we want to work with you in the future too. We want to bring you on this trip. We had no idea that all your stuff was stolen, and we just want you to be a part of the game. And it would be a win for the player base. It would be a win for the artist, and it would be a win for the reputation. It would delace this scandal bullshit. It would do so much for them. But you know what they're not going to do? They're not going to do that. Because companies are full of fucking assholes. And it's insane, bro. It's insane. Because you know what? If they just always choose the dialogue option for be the good guy, be the good guy, be the good guy. It's so rare now that the players I would give them a lot of credit, but they won't do that. They can't do that. Why? Dude, honestly, I've thought about this so much. Other than them being sued, which he can sue, or she. I don't know. I don't know if the artist is a female or a male. They're like one of these techno people that doesn't have any pronouns in their profile or anything. So I don't know, but they could still sue. I don't know what the company's worried about. And I will tell you this, since the scandal, players have noticed and gave their opinion on it. And if you think that this game is going to get good reviews on any platform, it was already rocky, by the way. The game is not, I mean, you're looking at it. The game is not super bad looking, but it's not super polished. And you could chalk that up to like, oh, they're just developing it. Like it's early. Okay. But like we already have Apex. Am I wrong? Like, am I wrong? And I get it. You're saying, well, no, they're one of the first people who did the sci-fi shooter stuff. Like, give them a break. I would, if they weren't being such fucking floppy cocks about it. And a lot of people did. A lot of people were excited about Marathon. I feel like a lot of people, and they played it, and they were dedicated to it, and then all this shit started to come out. And I honestly think, could we see another fucking ad? That's crazy. I mean, it's whatever. We're giving money to people, right? You see an ad, that's totally fine. But they had a chance with this, and I think they're running out of chances. And you guys don't have to believe me. Fact check it. I don't care. In my personal opinion, I can see Bungie folding. Because they've had many chances to get this right. They've had many chances, and they've had many chances across the board. Honestly, they've invested in hunks of shit repeatedly and doubled down on it, despite their own staff telling them this is a bad move. So, but some companies are like that. They're ran by a couple people at the top who maybe they got lucky once, but they're not lucky now. They don't know why they were successful, and they make bad decisions based on their gut feeling about certain things that they don't understand. Like, selling a watch to somebody in 2005 compared to 1980. There's a big difference in those markets. There's a big difference in how people perceive value in things. And there's a big difference between what luxury means and what care means. And like, almost nowadays, the box that it come in is very valuable too. Whereas like, maybe it wouldn't be back then. But you get what I mean with this metaphor. It's like companies and products and the market changes. This is a fact. This is a fact. So something that we cared about 20 years ago does not mean we would care about it now. And that is one of the main problem about, people say, oh, I played this old game. I wish they'd remake it. Depending on the game, it's very risky. Because, what does remake it mean? Change it too much? Players are gone. Change it too little? Players will be like, well, I've already played this. And it depends. They're trying to make money. They're trying to make money, and it's totally understandable. But I think they've had a lot of chances with Destiny 2, especially, where they've put it on life support. And people are still playing that fucking game. And they've openly admitted it's on life support. And what that means is updates stop. Well, not completely. But the game's not being meaningfully expanded. Things might get a balance patch or two. But the reality is like, for some reason, all Destiny games have this problem where they have huge hype, they come out, and then they slowly taper off, or they quickly taper off, depending on your platform. Like I said, on Xbox, on the first one, oof, That was crazy. It's crazy to see that. Now the PC, I think the PC version is the one that's keeping it alive, but I think very seriously we might see Bungie fold completely. They've put too many games on life support. They're making too many risks, and they really just aren't like even though like I feel like a lot of people have told them what they want, and they're not fucking doing it. So it's sad to see like the end of an era, because if you had asked me a long time ago, especially during like Halo 2 days, where do I see Bungie? And I'd be like at the top, man, at the fucking top. I would have never thought, and it almost didn't happen. I need everyone to understand this. That shit almost didn't happen. They almost made a game completely different from Halo. And I think a lot of people know this, but the original game was not Halo. Okay? And then they formatted it into Halo. And they got really lucky. And I think despite being such a leader and such an industry powerhouse, to see them fall like this makes me just think like all these companies that we know and love, and we've lost a lot of them, or they've been folded into other companies over time, especially from like the DOS era. There's a lot of DOS era games that I absolutely love, and some of the rights to them have fallen to companies that have just shelved them and kept them on a little shelf. And I go to Good Old Games, GOG.com, a lot, and I browse through like older games, and I'm just like, pick them up every now and then. And I just think of all these companies, of all the passion and all the time and all the effort that went into everything that we see, and I kind of feel like it's sad on a certain level. Like, I'm not angry. I am angry, but it's because I love things. I like what I like. And it's sad to see when that stuff just goes so rapidly toward the shitter. But, I want to know what you guys think about Marathon and how it's headed. I honestly think that it's just, I think they're going to collapse. I don't see how they can keep blowing as much money as they do, stealing art, and doing all these stupid fucking things, instead of just like making peace with people, paying the people, doing the right thing, and making the right choices, while the people who still care are telling them what they want. Most players have screamed at the top of their lungs, just fucking make Destiny 3 and stop the nonsense. But they can't bet on Destiny 3 because the same thing happens with every Destiny game. Is they try to squeeze as much money as they can, and ultimately goes down, dries up, and they're left holding the bag thinking, damn, we were going to do like a ton of DLCs, we were going to overpromise, we were going to do this, we were going to keep this game alive as long as we can, and now it's already dead. And that's why they've made a lot of questionable decisions with Destiny 2. So I want to know what you guys think. I really want to know y'all's opinions. I answer every single comment. I don't care how long the comment is. If you're someone who writes paragraphs, I'm down to fucking read them and have a real conversation. Yeah, this is still YouTube. I get it. But like, let's have a real fucking conversation in the comments about this, because, this is stuff that people care about, and you never know who's going to see your comment. You never know who's going to be around, reading these things and really caring about them. So, again, your favorite Jack Black impersonator signing off, and I will see you guys in the next one.